When you think about Predator characters, Lightstepper is not one you often see get talked about. Despite the fact that next to Ahab, he's actually the most recurring Predator, Lightstepper doesn't see the same attention that the likes of Broken Tusk or Wolf do. And while Lightstepper's appearances are in shorter stories, he also has the distinction of being the first Predator we ever see go up against a PredAlien. Lightstepper has appeared in 3 Alien vs Predator stories, Blood Time, Duel and War, all written by original AVP scribe Randy Stradley, but was only really a main character in 1, Duel. Lightstepper made his debut in Blood Time, a short story that was first published in the 25th issue of Dark Horse Presents in September of 1994. It would be collected several times, including with Duel and as part of a limited edition digest-sized hardback that was included with the American special edition of Rebellion's Aliens vs Predator in 2010, where it was also recoloured by Wes Diazoba. Blood Time introduced Lightstepper as a member of Top Knot's clan. Lightstepper took part in a blood-in ritual along with 9 other young predators, including one unblooded known as Two Stripes. The hunting party had been on the planet 2 days before eventually discovering any sign of their xenomorph quarry, an honourable discovery that belonged to Lightstepper. Having assumed that Top Knot had lost the aliens' trail, Two Stripes took offence to being both wrong about their leader and that Lightstepper had been the one to discover the first signs of the alien. Two Stripes attacked Lightstepper, but the conflict was promptly ended by Top Knot. As the hunt continued, Lightstepper found himself ambushed by an alien. The Predator's mask was knocked off, and a brutal fight followed. Lightstepper's spear was broken by the xenomorph's tail, who then pinned the extraterrestrial hunter to the ground. During the fight, the xenomorph ripped off Lightstepper's lower right mandible with its inner jaw, and it appeared as if the Predator was about to shuffle off this mortal coil. However, Lightstepper was able to overpower the alien and used his wrist blades to sever the alien's head from its body, causing a shower of acid to rain down on him. Acting quickly, Lightstepper was able to shield his face from the acid with his right arm, which promptly burned away his hand, leaving him with a stump on his right arm. Seeing the severely wounded Lightstepper clinging to life, Two Stripes, who had been observing the fight, approached to claim Lightstepper's kill as his own. Two Stripes took the alien's head and hand, used them to fake injuries on himself, and then proceeded to find the clan leader to claim his bloody mark. Instead, Two Stripes found the near mortally wounded Lightstepper being recovered by Top Knot and other members of their hunting party. The injured Predator was retrieved and safely placed aboard the party's ship, while Two Stripes was abandoned on the planet for his dishonour. The next time we encountered Lightstepper was during Aliens vs Predator Duel, the 2-part comic released between March and April of 1995 that introduced the PredAlien. Duel returned to Ryushi, a planet first visited in the original Aliens vs Predator series, where a unit of colonial marines under the command of Captain Glass respond to a distress call of extraterrestrial origin. Aware of the xenomorphs and their supposed origins on Acheron, the colonial marines expected to come face to face with the derelict space jockey vessel. Instead, they found a damaged Predator craft that appeared to have crashed into the surface of Ryushi. Investigating the downed Predator ship, they found it deserted with 1 dead Predator, 1 unconscious Predator, a seemingly dead alien queen, and a Briar Wolf as its only occupants. The queen soon proved itself to be alive, killing one of their unit. Fearing there were more xenomorphs aboard, and still considering the mission a humanitarian one, the colonial marines attempted to evacuate the unconscious Predator. As they rushed back to their nearby ATV, they were ambushed by more xenomorphs, and soon encountered the surviving Predators. One of 5 survivors of the crash, Lightstepper was quick to throw himself into battle with the attacking xenomorphs. Since we last saw him during Blood Time, Lightstepper now sported a rag tied around his right wrist. His injuries didn't seem to impact his combat ability though. Lightstepper swiftly dispatched the xenomorphs, seemingly saving the colonial marines. That soon proved to not be the Predator's priority, as he impaled one of their number with his spear, before being forced to cloak and retreat due to the marines' collective firepower. However, one of Lightstepper's clanmates continued the attack and was killed. Though not stated explicitly within the story, it's heavily suggested later in the comic that the reason that Lightstepper attacked was to stop the marines from taking the unconscious Predator, as he had been face-hugged and was carrying a gestating PredAlien, something that the marines would later come to realise. When he later witnessed the PredAlien in a more mature state, when its Predator influence was more obvious, Captain Glass hypothesised that maybe that was why the XTs were after us. We allowed this monster to be born. We'd let it into the world. Maybe it was against their religion. The colonial marines retreated to Michiko Noguti's abandoned homestead. duel taking place after Machiko had left with Topknot, where they radioed for their orbiting ship to retrieve them. It was during this time that the infected Predator gave birth, and the remaining Predators attacked. With rescue in sight and their ship on approach for pickup, Captain Glass and his surviving Colonial Marines prepared for evac. Their relief was short-lived, however, as Lightstepper used a gigantic shoulder-mounted cannon to destroy the human vessel. Enraged by this, the Colonial Marines pushed the assault and took down another of the Predators, leaving only 2 Predators alive. Unknown to the Colonial Marines, as they retreated, the newborn PredAlien had hidden away under their ATV, and Lightstep and his remaining clanmate tracked them to their new refuge in the remains of the devastated Prosperity Wells. Very little was left of the colony following the deliberate crashing of the Lecter's orbital barge. However, Glass and his Marines scavenged enough material to build a defensive wall, with their unit's flag hung nearby. Using a motion tracker and a minefield for defence, the Colonial Marines waited for the Predators. They weren't, however, expecting an attack from a now mature PredAlien in their midst. The Marines managed to cause the PredAlien to momentarily flee, with Lightstepper and his clanmate arriving just a moment too late. Announcing their presence with a plasma caster bolt to the chest of one of the Marines, Captain Glass detonated the minefield, taking out Lightstepper's clanmate and leaving Lightstepper injured, but still standing, and he was now the only remaining Predator on Ryushi. Removing his helmet, presumably due to damage or to respect his fallen clanmate, we're also given our first look at Lightstepper unmasked in duel, where we see once again his injured mandible ripped off during his blooding hunt. Lightstepper quickly reacquired his quarry, alerted by the pulse rifle fire of the remaining Colonial Marines' attempts to kill the PredAlien. With only his wrist blades, Lightstepper jumped into battle with the PredAlien, but the hybrid seemed quick to gain the upper hand. With only an empty pulse rifle, the last remaining Colonial Marine, Captain Glass, jumped into the fray, hitting the distracted PredAlien across the back of the head with his rifle. This brief distraction allowed Lightstepper the opportunity to slash the PredAlien's throat and plunge his blades into the hybrid's spine, finally killing it. The survivor, one Colonial Marine captain with no squad, and one Predator who had lost all his clanmates, collapsed to the floor, the conflict between them forgotten in the victory. Glass would muse that together we'd taken out an enemy that would have killed us both, and maybe at that moment we came to some kind of understanding. Now all the 2 exhausted warriors could do was wait to see whose people came first, the Colonial Marines or the Predators. The third and final time that we meet Lightstepper promptly answered that question. Though we don't know how much time elapsed between the events of Duel and Lightstepper's appearance in Aliens vs Predator War, published between May and August 1995, it's very obvious that the Predator's status had rocketed to great heights. Set over a year after the events of the first Aliens vs Predator comic, War sees Topknot's clan reunite for a large-scale hunt, one that really excited the Predators. One of the last stragglers to return is a group led by Lightstepper, a return that is met with celebration by the others. Having not actually met Lightstepper herself, Machiko Noguchi is unfamiliar with the Predator, but due to the excitement expressed at his return, she notes that whoever their leader is, he must be important. Only someone like Topknot would get this kind of attention. Watching Lightstepper board the mothership, she notes his injuries, and it's at this point that she notices the flag of Glass's Colonial Marines wrapped around his injured hand, the plain white one the Predator wore in Duel now gone. Forgetting her own low status within Topknot's clan, Machiko tries to approach Lightstepper and find out more about the flag, but she is quickly knocked down by the Predator and she hastily submits to him. And the last we see of Lightstepper is a panel of him walking into the depths of the Predator craft. We don't see him fighting on Bunda or as part of the skeleton crew left aboard the mothership, so I believe it would be safe to say that given his status, he was leading a hunting party on a different planet. However, in Stephanie Perry's adaptation of War, it suggested that all the assembled Predators were hunting on Bunda, but only Topknot would be taken unblooded for their blooding ritual, so Lightstepper may have been fighting on another area of the planet. The novelisation will go on to further elaborate on Lightstepper's high status among the Predators, with Topknot describing him as a blooded of song, a Yautja who wins many children, has trophies of all and many enemies. Given the attention he was receiving, Machiko thought that perhaps Lightstepper was held in as high regard as Broken Tusk once was. Lightstepper wasn't actually named in the novel, with Machiko describing his name in the Predator language as a phlegmy rattle. Whereas other Predators are referred to by name, like Shorty and Topknot, It's likely that Lightstepper wasn't because likewise the comic didn't refer to him by name either, and it's possible that Stephanie never read the previous comics that established his character. And though the novel does describe Lightstepper being scarred, his distinctive lack of a right hand isn't referenced, with Glass's colonial marine fighter simply described as being wrapped around Lightstepper's right forearm. And that is the history of the predator known as Lightstepper, the first predator we ever saw defeat a PredAlien, and one of the few predator characters with a more significant number of appearances to his credit. Perhaps he's still out there, ready for another story to revisit his exploits. Would you like to see Lightstepper returned? It's been nearly 16 years since we last saw him. Was he one you found interesting? You'll have to let us know in the comments down below. If this is your first time visiting the Alien vs Predator Galaxy channel, please be sure to head back to the main page and check out some of our other content, including other lore videos, podcasts, interviews, and Let's Plays. You can find the hub of our activity on avpgalaxy.net, and we're also on all the social media channels. Be sure to check us out and give us a follow. And if you've liked this video, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, give the video a like, and hit the notification button so you know about any of our new content. Thank you everybody for watching. This has been Corporal Hicks, signing off.